So how are you? Do you feel more in control of your experience? You're beginning to feel a little invincible? Aren't you eager to get out there and sort of mix it up? Don't you love knowing that you can be or do or have anything? Don't you like the idea of the cooperative universe? Don't you like the indicators that are letting you know where your vibration is? Does it matter where you're putting your boat in the stream when the stream's moving that way and all the stuff you want's down there? Does it matter? It doesn't, does it?
Hi. I read Ask and It Is Given last fall and had a fantastic winter manifesting, and my dad got sick May 10th and died June 4th. And my mom's prognosis now is 2 to 6 weeks. And I found it very challenging this past summer, and now to focus on happy thoughts and think about things that make me feel good when me and my brothers and sister and I are inundated with the grief, the anger, the obligations to clean out the estates. They're divorced, so it's 2 different households. And I wanted to hear your input on that.
Well, your parents were smart enough to croak back into alignment. It was sort of a last-ditch effort for both of them, but worked just the same. And since you're not going to croak anytime soon, we suggest you find a way to clean it up here. And we're going to give this to you in a way that you can really hear it. We'll give it to you softly and easily, but we so want all of you to hear this relative to the subject of the people that you care about making their transition. So there are 2 big points that we want you to hear, and when you do, you'll feel better. First, when someone that you care about goes away, whether it's a lover leaving or someone moving far away where you don't see them, or somebody having their what you call death transition, and you think you're missing them, you're not missing them. What you're missing is the alignment that you had before you were focused in this way. In other words, grief is not sadness that your father or mother died or are dying. Grief is the missing of who you are. Grief is the feeling of you vibrating over here when you're really vibrating over here. Grief is the feeling of separation. And we know it's easy to say, yes, but I feel this grief because of that. But we say, put a different because of it. Instead of saying, I feel this grief because of something I can't do anything about. I can't make my dad come back, and I can't keep my mom from going. I feel this grief because I'm focused in a way that has me separated. You can do something about that, you see. So the grief you feel is always you not letting yourself be who you are. And we know you feel like that's plenty good reason, but we've got to say to you, there is no good reason ever to separate yourself from who you are. So that's the first thing we want to say to you. The next thing we want to say is that as you come to understand that you are source energy here in a physical body, and that which is non-physical is always aware of you, and as you remember that those people that you care about who are now cavorting with the non-physical likes of us have easy access to you, but you don't have easy access to them. In other words, you must be a vibrational match to where they now are. And there is such a tendency to say, I will feel better if I can change the conditions, but since I can't change the conditions, I won't feel good. And what you've got to say instead is, I can't change the conditions, but I do insist on feeling good in spite of the conditions. Which means you have to care more about how you feel than how others around you feel. In other words, there are a lot of people that don't think you should be celebrating your parents' reemergence into pure positive energy. There are a lot of people who don't think that it's a wonderful thing that in one fell swoop they have let go of all resistance and they are now coming full into who all that they have lived has caused them to become. We think that is reason for celebration, not reason for grief, you see. So it's an interesting thing that someone can get themselves into a position where they release altogether and reemerge into non-physical, and then those that are watching could take it so utterly backwards. You've practiced the subject of death in such a negative way that you don't even know what it is. You don't realize that it's the beginning of pure alignment. You don't realize that it's coming into the fullness of who you are. You don't realize that it's getting all of your power back. If you knew how wonderful the death experience is, you wouldn't give it to those buggers you're so mad at. So long you've been equating death with something that is bad. That could kill you. That could kill you, they tell you. Oh, that could kill you. Oh, as if it's a terrible thing to die, when there's no such thing as death, and it's not a terrible thing to reemerge into the fullness of who you are. You need a different label for death. You don't want to say, my father died. You want to say, my father released all of his resistance and came into the full alignment of who he is, and now is aware of me, and I have access to him in a closer, fuller way than ever before.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nose, because my follow-up question was the idea, I'm not married and I don't have any children, and the idea of being alone, without my parents, was a scary thought to me. But I'm an adult. I shouldn't be afraid of that,
After Esther's parents died, Esther started introducing them to people as, we're Jerry and Esther, we're both orphans. To try to make fun of that. In other words, that was a little levity that didn't go over very well. You're still sort of hung up on that death thing, aren't you? Here's the thing that we really want you to hear, and it's what we said before, but you couldn't hear it, but now you can. You're not afraid of being alone without your parents. Focusing the way you have has made you alone without your source. In other words, it's the diminishment of your connection with who you are that is this empty feeling, not the loss of your parents. You don't miss your parents, you miss the feeling of connection that often they provided. Ooh, that's big, isn't it? You don't miss your lover, you miss the feeling of connection that your lover sometimes helped you to make. You're not missing your parent that is dead or dying. You're missing the connection that you associate with security or with someone loving you. And we want to say to you, you'll never be separated from let's put it in a different way. The source within you will never stop focusing upon you, and will never not be there for you, and will never cease to call you toward it. But sometimes you can fixate on things that don't let you go. But you'll get over it, because it's not natural for you to feel that way. And while all this hubbub over all of this is sort of insisting that you keep focusing there, so you're more out of whack than you've been in a long, 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 long time. You're more out of whack now than you've ever been in your life because of all of this, you say.
Yes.
But you'll snap back faster because now you know how it all fits together. This won't be difficult to you. Just a little time and a little concentrated effort. You don't even have to apply anything that we've given you here today deliberately. You already know it so naturally. You could just sort of say things like, this too shall pass, and all is really well here, and I don't want either one of them to remain in physical. I don't want dad to come back, and I don't want mom to stay. I know that this is the path of least resistance for them. All is well. I know that they're on their way back into pure alignment, and I'm on my way back into pure alignment. The difference is they're going to croak to do it, and I'm going to focus to do it.